Hello, everybody. I'm going to talk about an incident that happened to me probably late July of 1982. I was in the Navy. I was on the USS Dwight D. Eisenhower, CVN 69, and they've already commissioned CVN 78. So, this is going way back. But anyway, I had made E2 probably a few months, probably a couple months before, while I was on the deployment. And when I joined the Navy in 81, I was making $501 a month for the entire month, $501. Well, now that I had made E2 and now it was 1982, I was making a whopping $618 a month. I was rolling in the dough, if you ask me, because I was not used to having money, before I joined the Navy. And but anyway, the Navy paid twice a month. I think it was the 15th and 30th back in them days. Anyway, uh, and they didn't pay you in cash, but you could cash your paycheck that same day. Um, you would get paid. They would Somebody from your division would go pick up the checks, and then they would hand them out in your workspace, which mine was the Signal Bridge at the time. You take your check and you go down and cash your check on the mess decks. The dispersing clerks were the ones that handled your pay. There was some military branches call it a MOS. In the Navy, it's called a rating or your rate. I was a signalman, SM, and a DK was a dispersing clerk. And that's what they did. They handled all the pay and cash and checks. They would have a table on the mess decks set up, and mess decks is where you eat. The dining facility on the ship is called the mess decks. But anyway, they would have a table set up with stacks of cash and a marine guard on each side of the table in case somebody wanted to do a snatch and grab. They wouldn't have got too far. But anyway, um, so so I cashed my check. I had 618 dollars. I was rolled. No, I didn't have 600. I had less than 300 because taxes come out of it. But I still had money from the check before because I got paid once um, in between the time that the ship left Palma de Mallorca, Spain, where I turned 18, and we headed back across the pond, back to the United States. So now I had two paychecks. Um, and man, I thought I was good to go. I had a pocket full of money and I was ready to go on liberty back in the United States. And that was a thrill right there because back in them days, it was a lot of adjusting back into the United States. It was almost as though the United States was a different country because back then there were new models of cars. Okay, cars look different back then. Now a car looks like any other car. It could be a BMW, it could be a freaking Ford, a Chevy, Honda. To me, they all look about the same. Pickup trucks, same thing. SUVs, there's a little bit difference, on some of the foreign models. But anyway, they still look quite a bit similar. Um, but people was talking different slang. They were dressing different. The different clothing styles. Music was different. So it was kind of like going to another country. When you first come back, before you readjusted. But anyway, back to my story. So I had a pocket full of money, in my opinion, a pocket full. But I probably had like maybe just over $500. And I was going to Military Circle Mall in Norfolk, Virginia. I was going to watch a movie. They had like four AMC movie theaters inside Military Circle Mall. I forget what I was going to go see, but I was excited. I was going to see it. Well, I had to take a bus because I didn't drive. Um, had to take a bus, city transport bus everywhere you went. If you left the ship. So I got off at the bus stop, went to the mall, had to use the bathroom. Well, I went to the bathroom. The entrance that was closest to the cinemas was the parking lot that the bus stopped at. And so I went to the entrance of the mall, and the restroom was on the left, public restrooms. While I went in, I had to take care of number two business. I went in there, setting up, in the stall. And have you ever just had the feeling that somebody was watching you, and you look around and you just had that feeling? Well, I had that feeling that day at that moment. And I'm looking around, of course, I'm in a toilet stall, and I look and I noticed an eyeball peering at me in between the stall door and the stall wall. They're on the hinges. I saw an eyeball looking at me. Well, I got stage fright, couldn't use the bathroom, so I got myself straight, and went out, was washing my hands, and I noticed this dude, probably about 25, 26 years old, and he was looking at me. And I had just turned 18. I weighed about 140 pounds. Okay, and this guy was checking me out and looking at me. And then he all of a sudden he says, "I was watching you." Well, I was young and dumb. Didn't know. I didn't know what to say. All I could think of was, "Yeah, man, what's your problem?" Well, he said, "I want to suck your dick." That shocked me. I was practically a virgin. I only had one sex one time prior to this incident in my whole life, and it was with a woman. I'm heterosexual, always been, and always will. And not taking away from anybody who goes the other way, but that's their business. But my business is I'm straight as straight can be. And this guy telling me that what he wanted to freaking do, and it scared me and made me nervous. And all I said was, "I ain't that way." And I left the public restroom. I'm walking down the hall towards the AMC theaters, and he comes up to me. He says, "Serious, man, I know a place where we can go." I said, "I ain't like that," and I kept walking. And then he got close to me and he reached out and grabbed my elbow, and it scared me. I don't know what happened, why I wasn't able to think. I didn't hit him, but what I did was I turned around and I pushed him away from me. And um, there was a Butler shoe store that was right there on the corner. As you come up the hallway from the outside parking lot, to like a big area, where the cinemas were. I pushed him into the Butler shoe store window, and it just shattered. And I mean, it messed their display of shoes up, by the window. And of course, that loud racket. Next thing there was like people all around me, and I'm 18. I was scared. I didn't know what to do. I mean, I saw my military career just going away, because I knew I was going to be in big, big trouble. And the manager of the shoe store, Butler shoe store, he came out and said, "What happened? What happened? What happened?" And of course, there was plenty of people say, "That guy just pushed that guy through the window." They didn't know what happened, in the bathroom or on the hallway up. They just saw the big commotion, saw me, I just pushed the guy. The manager got all up my face, said, "You're going to jail. I'm calling the police right now. You got to pay. You got to pay for this." And I'm scared as hell. I'm about to damn crap myself because I just know I'm in huge trouble. Not only with that, but with the military too. Well, he said, "You're going to have to pay. I'm calling the police. You're going to have to pay for this." And then he said, "This is going to cost $400." Now this is in 1982. All right, end of July, maybe 1st of August, 1982. Okay, and I just I just got paid. I hadn't spent any of that money. I had the money from two paychecks in my pocket, and now this guy's saying I got to pay $400. And that's a lot of money to a freaking 18-year-old back in 1982. Hell, it's still a lot of money to me now. But anyway, my dumbass paid the man. And he said, "Okay, all right, go on, get out of here." Well, I went back to the bus. Luckily, I still had some money to pay for the bus ride back to the Naval Operations Base of Pier 12, where the aircraft carriers were, were moored, tied up. Well, I come back on the ship. Wouldn't you know, my chief petty officer was walking down the hangar bay, and he saw me walking the other way in the hangar bay. The hangar bay is inside the aircraft carriers. There's three of them. That's where the ships, or that's where the airplanes are tied down inside the ship. When the ship is out to sea. But anyway, so he knew that I had gone on Liberty. So he said, "Sloan, what are you doing here? I thought you went on Liberty." Okay. First of all, let me tell you, I don't know how the Navy is now. I know it's changed a lot. Back then, the chief, your chief was God to you. You only saw the chief if you was getting like accolades or kudos, for a job well done, or you was in trouble. Here, I just lost $400 and now the chief asking me why I'm back on the ship. I had to tell him. Okay, I told him what happened. He looked at me. He said, "You're a dumbass." I said, "What, chief?" He said, "You're a dumbass. The store has insurance for stuff like that. You just gave that man $400 and you didn't have to because they're going to make an insurance claim on it. You just gave a month's pay, a month of your pay to that man." I felt like a burnt biscuit at the time because, like how freaking stupid, you know, can I be? Now I'm going to have to sit on the ship for another 2 weeks until I get paid again. But anyway, I thought that might be an interesting story to you. Um, it's just, you know, who knows what your day is going to turn out from the time that you start your day and to the end. There could be anything that happened, and a lot of it could be out of your control. And I always try to be a good sailor. I try to be respectful. I try to obey the rules and regulations and not get in any trouble. And then this thing happened to me. But when that goddamn grabbed a hold of my of my uh, of my elbow and told me again what he wanted to freaking do to me, I just panicked, and it cost me $400. Cost me almost a whole month's pay, after taxes. But anyway, so there's just another story about me being propositioned by a homosexual. All right, well, stay tuned. I have another good story next time.